Welcome to the Petters Suspension and Breaks AFL Outer East Division 1 and Division 2 footy show. And as you can see, we've got a little bit of work around us as they're in the final stages of finishing this magnificent new pavilion at the Monbulk Sporting Centre for the Monbulk Football Club, and they'll be having their opening on Saturday night. It's a great pleasure to be here. When you look around, you might think, gee, they've still got a fair way to go. They haven't got long to go at all. I reckon maybe a day or two, but we'll find out in a second from Andrew Williams, who is the coach, of course, of Monbulk, and they're going beautifully at the moment, unbeaten on top of the table in Division 1. Matt Footy is with us as well. Welcome, Matt. Good to have you with us.
Yeah, fantastic to be here, Dan. There's about 3 or 4 plasma screens around this joint, so I know where the money went, so it's good to know.
Well, some of the money anyway. Andrew Williams, your nickname's Hottie. Great to have you with us, Andrew. How exciting is it to have this brand new facility?
Oh, it's fantastic for the footy club. Quite lucky to be up here. First time we've actually walked in, and it's fantastic for the club.
How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel like your team could even play better football, be a better football team, be a more professional football team because of the facilities you've got? Great respect to the log cabin, which looks like it was one of life's great institutions, but it was probably time for a change, wasn't it?
Oh, it's certainly a massive head start for the footy club, to have a first-class facility and be able to, use it to our advantage.
Flying, Andrew, unbeaten, 6 from 6. First time as a senior coach. What's it been like being a senior coach? I know you've had stints as an assistant with Aussie Jones at Bendigo. You spent some time at the Northern Blues at your original club, Beaconsfield. But being a senior coach, how different is it?
It's been quite different. Obviously, a bit more of a workload, but certainly loved my time as assistant. Did the stint with Northern and learnt a hell of a lot about system and development. And I'm grateful that I had that opportunity, and now starting to put some of that stuff into practice as a senior coach.
So, do you see yourself as maybe becoming a coach long term? I know it's early days, but having had a stint of it as an assistant coach and a stint of it as a senior coach so far, you're thinking, gee, I love this caper?
Oh, absolutely. And when the first day I walked into this footy club, I sort of felt like they had a fantastic feel about it, and they're so welcoming, and it's a community footy club, and and I'm a footy nut, so and I love just being around footy clubs, and I can see myself certainly settling in as a senior coach.
What makes Monbulk a really good option going forward? Obviously, the new rooms are a big part of that as well. Good junior program as well, but what really sort of pushes you to be this is a long-term home?
I guess just the way I've been welcomed into the place, and with the playing group, being so into what we're about as a footy club and wanting to be successful. There's a really good blend of youth and experience, and it just felt like a really good fit for me, and I can't thank the club enough for the opportunity.
116 league games, 84 at West Coast, 32 at Collingwood. You had Mick Malthouse for a large portion of your career. Are you taking much of what Mick said, or the sprays that Mick used to give the players into your coaching, Andrew, or do you think we've moved on from that a bit?
Well, I haven't actually had to give the boys too much of what Mick used to give us, but it's one of those. There'll be a time and a place, I'm sure, but I guess. With the effort the guys have put in, the first 6 games so far, I couldn't fault their effort, and I can only praise what's been going on so far.
Along with Philip Reid, who went to Melbourne, and of course you went to Collingwood, you were the 2 most successful players of that 97 draftees for the West Coast. There was Jackson Crabb, a couple of stints I think at Port Adelaide and West Coast, and there was Todd Holmes, and there was David Antonovitz as well. Do you look back in your career and think, I'm pretty proud of what I achieved?
No, you missed Rowan Jones there, mate.
Rowan Jones did very well as well. Played in the Premiership. He might have been the best.
I think he deserves that accolade. But I certainly I look back, now that it's a few years on now, with fond memories, and and thankful for every opportunity I got to play AFL footy, and it was a massive learning, and I took plenty out of it.
Because coaching is not only just about strategy, it's also about man manager, being a very good man manager. Do you think, having had experience living away from here and living in Perth and playing AFL footy, that has helped you become a coach?
I sort of used my experience, and it's obviously footy clubs are about making strong relationships, and and coaching's no different to that. And I'm only sort of six games into my coaching stint, but I feel like I'm starting to get those relationships with the players and the other coaches, and obviously the people around the club. And I think that's really important to be able to obviously get sustained success, to have good relationships with your players.
You spoke about when you were at the Northern Blues, you learn about system and development. Did you have to change that, like alter it a little bit to come back down to local level, or have you pretty much just transferred it across? And how did the players buy in? Because often when taking something more professional to a local level, some players can sort of not want to do it because local footy is more of a release. But have you found all the players have bought in?
100%. It's I sort of had to rein it back and sort of work out how I could make the system relatable to local footy, and I thought I did that. We broke it into sections and made sure that we sort of drip fed it in. We didn't bombard the group with any overload of info, so it was. And we've trained it the whole summer, so it's been really well received by the group, and I guess it's starting to show with some of the results.
They call you Hottie, why?
Fast runner when I was a kid, so it was hot rod early days. So yeah, that's where.
You're still a fast runner, Andrew?
No, very far from, mate. I struggle to get out of the car.
Is that because of some football injuries?
I think it's starting to get a bit older now. I just turned 40, and it's probably been a build up of the footy injuries. But as you get older, you get less mobile.
To be 40 again, Matt. What are you, 22 or something? You told me you're in the 2015 or 2014 Under-19 Cricket World Cup team.
Well, that's 5 years from then, so 24.
You're still a boy, mate. You're still a very young man. I feel very old. Let's look at results for Division 1 from the weekend. And Warburton and Millgrove, 5-5-35, were defeated by Monbulk, 14-18, 102. And Andrew, good solid win. You remain undefeated. Was there anything about the game you didn't like?
Not... It was a slog. Obviously the conditions were quite heavy, and the ground had chopped up a fair bit, so sort of didn't allow for much free flowing footy. But it was one of those days where we just had to grind it out and try and play as best to the conditions as we could, and I think we did that for most part.
Your intercept marking was really impressive when we were here against Pakenham, especially guys half-back with Veet, McLennan and all that. Is that something that comes from the system, being able to pick off the poor opposition kicks? Yeah,
I think we've set up really well defensively across the board. So yeah, we do. We have some really versatile defenders that read the footy well off the boot, and I'm giving those guys a licence to go for their marks if they feel like it's in their range. So I think it's about like playing to your strengths, and we've got enough of those guys that back themselves. So yeah.
Obviously, the prize is a premiership, but then also a promotion to First Division. Do you feel you're ready already to go into First Division? Premier Division. Yeah,
we're certainly a long way off talking about anything of next year yet. But we've just done our review of the game, and there's still plenty of parts that we need to work on. And we still haven't played everyone, and obviously the return legs are going to be important too.
Spoken like a true coach, Matt. Good defensive play from an opening bat, I would have thought there. Doveton 15-14, 104 beat Emerald 11-11, 77. Pakenham rolled Belgrade by 33 points, and Matt opposite 29-point winners over Mount Evelyn. What do you take out of those games?
Mount Evelyn, yet again, probably brought down by the bigger ground. I think Mark Fisher admitted that to Doug Cooper after the game, so they'll be looking at trying to analyse that and probably how they set up without the ball. Belgrave have been really impressive all year. I think in round one they probably should have won the game against Monbulk. I thought they had heaps more of the ball, but their skill errors and decision makings late in each quarter cost them. So Belgrave have been really impressive despite only winning one game. Emerald are improving, and Warby are probably in a bit of trouble. Looks like Andrew White might be on the move as well, one of their key forwards. So Warby could be struggling the rest of the year, but Belgrave and Emerald, there's plenty of good signs for them.
Who have you been most impressed with, Andrew, of the teams you've played so far?
Well, obviously, round one was a tough clash against Belgrave, and I guess Mount Evelyn we got out of jail on their ground. You know, we were certainly inaccurate that day, and they took their chances, and we had to fight to the end to get the win there. But it's a really even comp, and like I think I mentioned before, that any side can beat anyone on any given day if you're a little bit off. There hasn't really been a standout as such. I think all the teams we've played have had really good patches of dominant footy, and it's about putting it together for 4 quarters, I think.
Well, Andrew, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a great start by Monbulk. As you said, a long way to go, but you've made the perfect start, 6 from 6. Thanks for having us down here on the eve of opening up your brand new club rooms. They look absolutely sensational, and good luck on the weekend, and obviously with the opening and for the rest of the season, and no doubt GameFace will be down here again soon. Thanks.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Andrew Williams with us from the Monbulk Footy Club. We'll be back with another special guest from Monbulk in just a sec. You're listening to the GameFace Outer East Division 1 and Division 2 footy show, thanks to Pension Suspension and Brakes.
Hi, Mark Petter from Petter Suspension and Brakes, family Australian-owned business, been around for 70 years. So located through all parts of Australia, so Victoria obviously I think we've got about 17 stores, both country and metro, interstate warehouses and stores all over the place, so 130 in total. So our main services is obviously suspension and brakes. We've been specialising in suspension for the past 60 odd years, introduced brakes 5 or 6 years ago. Any suspension and brake needs, whether it's just from a basic repair to a full upgrade, we can take care of it. We are specialists, so all we do is suspension and brake. We just specialise in that area, so if that's the stuff that we look after and that's the stuff that we specialise in. Petters has been involved with the Emerald Football Netball Club for quite a while now, and just to have our brand, which is obviously a family brand, involved with a family club is something that I find really important. Being involved in my local community is something that I really enjoy. So having the ability to support the club that supports us is just really good.
This is the Outer East Petters Suspension and Brakes First Division and Second Division footy show on GameFace. Dan Lonigan and Matt Foddy with you at the brand new Monbulk Pavilion, and what an honour it is to be here as we get ready for the opening of the new facility on Saturday. As I say, just a little bit of work to finish off, bit of painting over the next couple of days, but it looks a treat. And Michael Langworthy, one of the star players at the Monbulk Footy Club, has joined us. And Michael, what's it like being in a new facility like this?
Oh, it's sensational to have a roof over our heads, to be honest. Been out of a little shed over there for a little bit too long, but it's great. Looking super looking forward to just playing games out of it.
Just on the old facility, I mean, it certainly was a big part of Monbulk, wasn't it, for a long time? Great memories there. Oh
yeah, because the original rooms were an extension again, so they've just sort of been here since I've played under 10s, and they've been here forever. So it's a bit of a change to get it all gone, but this is a fair spectacle. This one's
it is. It's one of the best rooms that I've ever seen.
I think it doesn't have that homey feel though. The log cabin does though. You're going to give it a big send off.
Well, yeah, the log cabin's always been our social side. So yeah, the rooms have always been up here on the hill. So yeah, it'll be a bit hard to say goodbye to the log cabin.
Why do you think the team's playing so well so early in the season?
I think it's just possibly just the massive buy-in of just following the system and there's no pressure if we just do what we're asked, and if we fail, then it's not our fault. We're just doing what we're told, and it just seems to work. So we just keep buying more in.
So you feel relaxed. You feel like if you make an error, it's not so bad because at least you're trying to keep to the game plan. And Andrew seems like he's pretty patient, and he doesn't seem to get too angry with you. He's positive the entire time. That's the impression I get. Is that pretty right?
Yeah, he's a very positive coach. Doesn't like to dwell on things that don't go right because there's no point. But probably just the evidence in what works is just you just see it, and there's no reason to not believe that it won't work.
Be a long time since you were probably top of the ladder down at Monbulk. What's it like being on top of the perch?
Yeah, I think it was probably 2012, probably my last time on top, and it's I don't really care about being on top. It's I've lost too many to worry about anything further than just keep winning and just keep improving.
So how do you not rest on your laurels, considering it's been a while since you've been on top of the ladder?
Well, yeah, it's easy for me. Don't know about the other boys, but I've finished on top probably a couple of years. Expected to do well and gone out in straight sets. I'm not getting ahead of myself. It's too easy.
Fair enough. Well, Monbulk have got Doveton. There's only 2 games next week, Matt, of course. It's a split round because there are no byes in second division with the 8-team competition. So 2 games this week, Monbulk and Doveton, and Mount Evelyn and Belgrave. Next week is Emerald and Officer, and Pakenham against Warby Millgrove. So it's a little bit of a test for Doveton here, of course, as part of the opening of the new club room. So a big day for the club.
Yeah, Doveton might play into Monbulk's hands. They like to go long. They've got a lot of marking targets. So we spoke to Hottie before about the intercept marking ability of the halfbacks and the defenders there. So it'll be interesting how they go, but they do like to kick it long. So Monbulk play quite a high press. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get out the back. They might kick a couple of goals, Doveton, but they could also fall down at the hands of the marking power across halfback of McLennan, Veet, Major, Fletcher and the likes there. So it'll be an interesting one. Monbulk so far looked the best side I've seen in Division 1 and definitely better than a couple of teams I've seen in Premier Division. So they look good, but I think it's a lot easier to say that when you're not on the field. As Michael said, they don't want to rest on their laurels. They haven't been in this position before, so they'll just be enjoying it and working hard towards maintaining it.
How much self-belief, Michael, is there in the group at the moment?
There's definitely heaps of belief. There's so much youth, so much talent. I think for the last 2 years we've been playing 6, 7 under-18s just to get them just blooded, and coming into the seniors is just unreal. So there's it's good to have like 6, 7, 8 people always pushing for the team. So plenty of belief and there's plenty of pressure. So got to keep performing.
Have those young guys been better than you thought they'd be?
Kai. I think he played into league under-18s, but he's just dominant. He doesn't even look like backing out of any contest. We've had other guys that have gone down injured, and the people that have gone back to under-18s because they just haven't quite got that spot, but they're definitely pushing for it.
And Mount Evelyn hosting Belgrave. Should be an interesting match, this one.
Yeah, Mount Ev should win, but Belgrave, as I mentioned before, have been really good all year. They haven't been blown out of the water by anyone. I think their highest losing margin is about 35 against Officer. They've only conceded over 100 once, and that was on the weekend, but they also kicked their highest score. So I don't think it'll ever it won't be a big margin, so they'll keep it tight. And then once it's tight, you never know what could happen. Belgrave, really good structure. Been impressed with Nathan John, so, we'll see what happens. Mount Ev should win, but, Belgrave can beat anyone, I think.
There's almost a little bit, though, the Carlton syndrome, isn't it? You need to win, don't you?
It's a bit different to Carlton. I'd say Water Millgrove are the Carlton in Division 1 at the moment, and they're definitely not in those dire straits. Belgrave definitely strike me more of a Brisbane last year. They're showing really good signs, and Emerald are the same. They're better than a 1-5 side, I think. That, like we said before, they could easily be 3-3. Their worst performance was probably a 6-point loss to Warby, where Warby kicked a goal with 10 seconds to go. So I think Belgrave are definitely better than a Carlton. It's quite hard to find a Carlton outside of Warby, and they've obviously in different situations. Carlton have obviously got a bit more funding than Warby and Millgrove, I'd suggest, and they obviously get draft picks and everything, so it's hard to draw a comparison.
And the importance, Michael, of banking wins at home. Another opportunity this week as you endeavour to stay on top of the table.
Just defending your home grounds. Pivotal really, just to get those, have a nest, you bank your wins and you just be more confident and you want teams to think twice when they come to play you at home. So it's good. It's really important.
Well, we thank you for joining us. Congratulations on what you've achieved so far and good luck on the weekend and what's a big, big day for the club. Thanks for joining us on GameFace.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Good on you, Michael Langworthy from the Monbulk Football Club. We're here at the Monbulk Football Club in their brand new facility and you're watching the Petters Suspension and Breaks AFL Outer East Division 1 and Division 2 footy show. Back with another guest from Monbulk shortly and we'll look too at Division 2. On GameFace, welcome back to the Petters Suspension and Breaks AFL Outer East Division 1 and Division 2 footy show. Dan Lonigan and Matt Foddy are here in the brand new rooms for the Monbulk Footy Club and Josh Rack joins us, another one of the stars at this Monbulk Footy Club who are flying unbeaten on top of the table 6-0. Josh, thanks for having us here and welcome to the program.
No worries, thanks Dan. Appreciate you having me on.
How's it all going? You enjoying the season so far?
Yeah, good, loving it. Having heaps of fun at footy, just kicking the ball with my mates.
Nice. You make it nice and simple. Is that? I just get the impression that seems to be the attitude of everyone around the footy club, and that's why you're winning games.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's everyone's involved. We're all role players, really. It's not focused on anyone, and we're all just playing together, having heaps of fun.
Well, it's pretty easy to be simple when you're winning games, isn't it, Dan? Don't overcomplicate it. Keep doing what you're doing.
And I get that impression that's sort of the way Andrew wants it to be. Don't overcomplicate it. Areas you can work on, always making sure that you're looking to improve.
Yeah, I think it's not super simple, but it's pretty clear. There's certain things we know we have to do, and that's what we want to go out and do.
And how close to your best footy individually do you think you are at the moment?
Not right there at the moment. Still hitting my straps, but slowly getting better. Probably looking about a 7 out of 10 at the moment. Should peak around September, hopefully.
Now, with a name like Josh Rack, is there a nickname, Josh? You got an original nickname? You're not going to tell me it's Raxy.
Well, what time's this go to air? I might have to leave it.
It's on the net, mate. It can go to air at any time. It depends when you press the button. So you decide.
I might leave that for GameFace After Dark.
Well, GameFace After Dark hasn't come yet, but it's on the way. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. You're a ripper, Josh. Yeah, I've got a feeling I know what it might be, but we might just leave that alone. Matt, what do you think it might be?
I'm not going to comment.
No, I didn't think you would. You're too nice a guy. Now, a quick look at the ladder, and we can see that Monbulk is on top of the table. And as you say, Matt, going to be pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, pretty hard to beat at this stage, but it's still a long year to go. They'll play a lot more games away from home now. At home, so that'll probably play into their favour. But yeah, like I said, they deserve to be on top. They've been the best side by a mile in Division 1.
At this stage, who do you think would make the finals, or is it too early to say?
I think it's locked away, to be honest. Belgrave and Emerald look good, but they're probably too far behind at the moment. Officer look like they're going to beat them pretty handily, and they knocked off Mount Ev at home. So by the looks of it, I'd say Monbulk, Pakenham, clear front runners. The Pelotons probably Doveton, Mount Ev and Officer. It just depends who gets who at what time of the year as to how that shapes up. And then Belgrave, Emerald and Warby look like they'll be just focusing on the building a future.
You had a good win against Pakenham, who are second on the table, and they're undefeated. What did you learn about that particular performance?
I think it was really down to how hard we were at the ball. I think they were a bit shell-shocked early, which was a good feeling for us to know that our physicality could match it with them. And I think they did look to move the ball pretty well, but obviously our defence held up. I think it was probably what I took out of that game the most. They withheld the attacks that they brought forward, and I think it'll definitely be a bit interesting going back out there, be a bit different how we structure up, but I was pretty happy with the game.
Now, the club rooms, as I mentioned, are open this Saturday night for the big home game for Monbulk, and this Saturday night is a sportsman's night with Bruce Eva, a good mate of mine from 3AW. He heads their cricket coverage in the summer and calls a lot of Friday night and Saturday night footy. Mad keen Saints fan, absolutely loves them. Buff Lehman, former Australian cricket coach, played 27 tests for Australia, number of one-days and 2 World Cups, which is just underway. He played in 2 World Cup winning teams, 99 and 2003. And Jimmy Bartell, over 300 AFL games, and he won the Brownlow back in that perfect season for the Cats in 2007. And now a very, very good media performer at 3AW, at Channel 7, at RSN, and a board member at the GWS Giants. So tickets available at the Monbulk Football Club website. The official opening will be August 17 with the Deputy Premier and the local member in this area, James Molino, and the federal MP, Cock-a-Hoop, after he's just got home in the federal election a few weeks ago, in Tony Smith. So a couple of big functions coming up as part of this new facility here. So everything going well, Josh?
Yeah, really keen for it. Get around the politicians. Yeah. They do a great job.
You'll get around the politicians, will you? What questions will you ask them, Josh?
Oh, can I have a frothy?
Or can you have a frothy?
Yeah, tax deductible.
Of course, it's got to be tax deductible. We've got a bit of a comedian in our midst here, Matt, don't you reckon?
Someone's got to add some comedy to the show, don't they?
Yeah, they do. We're a little bit dry, aren't we? Yeah, good on you. Now, let's have a quick look at... you're an idiot, Matt. Fair dinkum. Let's have a quick look at Division 2. And Yarra Glen in an outstanding game of football. Powtown led by 10 points at three-quarter time. It was tight all day. Yarra Glen found a way to get over the line. Powtown to be disappointed, but... Gee, what a struggle that was.
Yeah, disappointed, but they kicked pretty straight, freakishly straight. I think it was 12-4 or something like that, or 13-4 to, I think Yarra Glen had over 12 or 13 behind.
It was 12-13-85 to 13-6-84.
There you go, I was close enough. Yeah,
you were.
Yeah, so accurate goal kicking probably kept them a lot closer than scoring shots suggest, but Powtown are a really good side. They just haven't been able to knock off someone above them yet. So I'm sure that, other than Yarra Junction in round one, so I'm sure they'll get a lot of people in the back end of the year, and they might, I don't know whether they'll make the 5, but they'll definitely have a part in shaping it.
Have you come up against any of the Division 2 teams in your footy career at Monbulk?
I always grew up playing against Yarra Glen. They've got a few good young players. Austin Smith, who I think he's playing at Casey. He's on their list. I've seen he's been in the best a lot. He's pretty dangerous. A few others, a few from Gembrook, but not heaps from out there, yeah.
Now, Yarra Junction walloped Thornton Eildon by 124 points. Were we expecting the win? Were we expecting the margin?
Yeah, definitely both of those. A couple of highlights from all reports. Sam Morton kicked another bag of 6. He's up 25 for the year as a small forward. And David Johnson let me know that he took a big hanger at about the 18-minute marks of the first quarter. So for those wondering, yeah, have a look at that. And that was David Johnson from Yarra Junction Footy Club. He wanted me to give him a shout-out, so...
Good on you, David. Congratulations. Always good to take a hanger. Several easy winners over Gembrook Cockatoo by 8 goals. Again, that was expected?
Yeah, it was out there on the weekend. Gembrook home ground, Seville hit him from the start, kicked 7 goals to 2 or 3 in the first quarter, and after that sort of petered out. Josh Neal and Gareth Fraser are back. They went to Lilydale in the AFL Division 1 to have a crack at that. 4 rounds in. Josh had played all games in the seniors, and Gareth had injured and playing in the reserves. Didn't really like it, maybe missed several, came straight back, and Josh started with 6 goals on the weekend.
So handy additions for them.
Yeah, a couple of handy ones. They had Josh Fraser as well, who I think for a bit there might have not been available if he'd taken the Carlton interim job, but I think he'll still be available for the rest of the year.
Gee, that'll be handy to have him.
Yeah, they got Fraser, Ray O'Keefe, Josh Neal, so it's a pretty handy tall timber, but they get caught out on the big grounds, probably a bit too slow chasing back.
How old Josh Fraser be? He'd be late 30s now, wouldn't he?
Just outside my knowledge.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. And Kinglake, 35-point winners over Alexandra. And Kinglake continue to maybe be the favourites, but obviously Yarra Junction playing pretty good footy. So are they the best 2 teams?
Yeah, they'll be playing this weekend, so that'll be where I'll be at, commentating on that one. Kinglake, pretty good. They got a smart coach, Andrew Fairchild's experience, changed their tempo the way they play. Alex started really well and get up for the local northern games, but Kinglake just sort of chipped away at them and got in front in the second half and ran away with it. Should be a good game. Yarra Junction, I expect to win that game though this weekend against Kinglake. They're a pretty awesome team.
Well, yes, just going through this week's games, we've got Thornton and Gembrook Cockatoo. You think that Gembrook Cockatoo would have a good win there?
Yeah, they'll have a pretty handy win, I would have thought. Thornton Eildon being more competitive, but you can only drag that on for so long if you continue to get beat by 100 points. So they'll be eyeing off their match with Yea in round 9.
What do you think, Josh? Who's going to win that?
I wasn't listening. Who's playing?
What were you thinking about?
I was admiring the new rooms. Yeah.
You're a beauty, mate. We've got a comedian here. We're looking for, if anyone's looking for a comedian to be on their show and are watching this show, we might have found one here. He's a lot funnier than many of the comedians out there at the moment. Yeah, Thornton playing Gembrook Cockatoo. Read my lips, as Eddie Murphy would say. Thornton playing Gembrook Cockatoo.
Can't go past the ruse.
That's Jim Brookhocker too.
Thornton, the Roos. Yeah, we went on a pre-season trip up to Thornton last year and went to the pub, met a few of the boys.
Okay, well,
So I'll back them in.
fair enough. Powtown and Yay.
He's thrown you off your game.
Oh yes, he's a ripper. They'll love him.
Powtown will win that one. Yeah, you're in a similar spot to Thornton.
Tell me, do you hold court when you've had a few beers?
No, I'd get more sensible, if anything. Straight down the line.
I think he bounces off people.
I think he does. Who wins between Powtown and Yay? Coach is winding me up here, so I better keep moving.
I think Yay, the Tigers, one of the best bakeries in Victoria out there, so good pies, yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's a good way of selecting a team. Yarra Junction and Kinglake, as you mentioned, match of the day, could decide who are the early favourites to win the flag.
Yarra Junction win that biggish ground out there, and they've got heaps of speed through the midfield, so the Eagles.
Yarra Junction or Kinglake?
The Eagles.
Yarra Junction. Alexandra up against Yarra Glen.
Yarra Glen.
The River Pigs. Love the River Pigs. Good name, isn't it, Josh?
Yep, I'm with the River Pigs.
Yeah, me too. Well, thanks for watching the Pettis Suspension AFL Outer East Division 1, Division 2 footy show. I think we've found a new talent here. The great man. Good on you, Josh. Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck for the rest of the season. Good luck when you meet the politicians in August, and good luck at the Sportsman's Night on Saturday night and these brand new rooms. Congratulations, Monbulk. Absolutely fantastic. And good luck on the weekend to the Monbulk Hawks. Thank you, Matt. Enjoy the rest of the World Cup, or enjoy this week's edition of the World Cup. There's been some great games already. I know you love your cricket, so we look forward to that, and enjoy the game on the weekend.
Always will. Enjoy your game as well.
Thanks, Matt. Matt Footy, you're joining us, and don't forget, GameFace will be doing an Outer East Premier match this week. We look forward to that between Narre Warren and Cranbourne. Thanks to the coach for organising it as usual. Thanks to Monbulk for having us. Get your GameFace on.